Have you ever found yourself with a big vision, a powerful idea you really believe in deeply, but then got completely stuck?
hmm
Stuck on how to actually make it happen, not just once, but like repeatedly.
Yeah, that feeling is pretty common, I think.
It's that feeling of looking at a mountain summit and then realizing you need a practical, step-by-step map for the climb, and even better, a way to actually teach others how to make that same climb.
Right. Reproducibility.
Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into some incredibly rich source material. It's really aimed at leaders, anyone focused on building something that doesn't just last, but truly multiplies.
hmm
We've got this collection of discussion questions, reflective exercises, practical applications, and these really actionable to-do lists. They all come from a book called From Seed to Harvest, Building Churches That Last, Grow, and Multiply.
Okay.
And our mission with this deep dive isn't just to talk about the book. It's really to pull out the most important, maybe surprising, and definitely applicable insights.
Moving beyond just the theory.
Exactly. Moving beyond theoretical concepts to practical, repeatable actions. Stuff that leads to sustained growth and impact. Think of it as us trying to hand you a mental toolkit, one you can use for any project where you want to expand your reach.
And what's truly fascinating here, I found, is that these aren't just, questions on a page you tick off.
Right.
They're designed to disrupt assumptions we don't even realize we have. They invite that depth reflection, but then they really push you towards practical action. They make us look at not just what we're doing, but why it really matters.
The why behind it all.
Yes, and crucially, how to build something that's truly sustainable and can, replicate itself.
Yeah.
The core idea is getting beyond just maintaining things
Right, keeping the lights on.
and into genuine multiplication.
And speaking of multiplication,
Yeah.
the source material, wow, it hits us right away with this fundamental kind of provocative challenge. It asks, if the Great Commission, that core biblical mandate to spread a message and multiply its reach, is non-negotiable, why do so many organizations prioritize just maintenance over multiplication? And then the kicker. Is yours one of them?
Ooh, yeah.
That's a powerful gut check, isn't it?
It really is.
It makes you really stop and think about your core purpose and, maybe more importantly, how you're actually defining success.
It absolutely does. And this section, it really delivers a crucial paradigm shift. It challenges our usual definition of organizational health.
How so?
Well, we often measure success by internal metrics, right? Activity levels, busy schedules, full programs, maybe a high engagement numbers online or something.
Sure, the stuff that's easy to count.
Exactly. But the material argues that true health isn't about maintaining all that activity, it's about reproducing. It forces us to confront this really uncomfortable question. Is an organization truly thriving if it's not actively enabling new versions of itself to launch? The sources even ask if a church could be considered healthy, in a biblical sense, if it never planted another congregation.
Wow.
That's a fundamental reevaluation of what healthy truly means. You're moving from those internal metrics.
To outward impact. Yeah,
Precisely.
that's a really sharp observation. So what specific kinds of traditions or maybe structures does the book point to that, even with good intentions, might accidentally, stifle that reproductive drive?
Yeah, but that's a key point.
Can you give us a concrete example? Like, how does comfort sometimes become a constraint?
The material highlights how often good intentions can, ironically, end up limiting growth.
Okay.
So, for instance, an organization might invest heavily in a beautiful state-of-the-art building. And that's admirable, right?
Sure, seems like a good thing.
But the immense financial burden, the ongoing maintenance needed for that building, it can easily become the primary focus.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, it inadvertently starts siphoning resources, time, energy, away from outward expansion or developing new independent initiatives that could multiply.
So the asset becomes an anchor.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
It's a powerful lesson in how an established comfort zone, or maybe just a preferred way of operating, even if it seems efficient, can unintentionally sterilize future reproduction.
It's a powerful point. And it makes you think, doesn't it? Think about your own endeavors. How often do you find yourself prioritizing just keeping things going
The daily grind.
over actively trying to expand and multiply your efforts? It's so easy to get caught in that cycle where just managing the day-to-day overshadows the bigger mission.
Absolutely.
Okay, so moving from that sort of philosophical point to more concrete action, the sources directly challenge us on our goals.
Yes, this is where it gets very practical.
And what I found particularly compelling and honestly a real gut check for my own approach sometimes was this question. Are your current organizational goals actually measurable? Or are they just, inspirational slogans with no real accountability?
Exactly. That hits hard, doesn't it?
It does.
The book tells stories of leaders who suddenly realized their big vision statements were basically glorified fortune cookies.
Huh. Yeah.
They sounded nice,
Yeah.
maybe inspiring even, but offered zero actionable guidance. And that's the challenge these sources lay out. How do we marry the inspiration with the perspiration?
Good way to put it.
The material really elaborates on the difference between having a spirit-led strategy and just sort of winging it in faith.
Okay, interesting distinction.
It's not about choosing one over the other, but integrating them intentionally.
Right.
It encourages drafting measurable goals using those SMART criteria. Goals that are specific, not just vague wishes. Measurable, so you actually know when you've hit the target. Achievable, grounded in reality. Relevant, tied directly to your core mission. And time-bound, giving you a clear deadline.
So it's not just corporate jargon then?
Not at all. It's presented as a powerful way to bring concrete focus to even the most ambitious, maybe spiritually inspired visions.
That's a crucial distinction. But I imagine for many leaders, this idea of constant reproduction might sound, well, exhausting.
Yeah.
Or maybe like it compromises quality just for the sake of quantity. How does the book suggest we integrate what might feel like two very different tracks, the measured strategic plan and the fluid inspired impulse?
That's a fantastic question, and it's really central to the book's message.
Okay.
The sources argue that a truly spirit-led strategy demands measurable goals, precisely because it's about discerning God's will or the right direction and then intentionally acting on it, not just hoping for the best.
Makes sense.
That one-sentence North Star goal they talk about acts as a touchstone. It needs to be concise enough to inspire everyone, clear enough to hold people accountable,
Right.
but maybe broad enough to allow flexibility in how you actually achieve it.
So structure, but not rigidity.
Exactly. You might have an inspired direction, a gut feeling, but you apply the SMART criteria to the steps you take towards it. For practical application, the materials suggest things like drafting a measurable goal for an effort with defined phases, maybe a pilot project, then expansion, then replication.
Okay, breaking it down.
Yes, and then creating a simple tracking system for progress checkpoints. It really tries to blend the spiritual with the strategic, ensuring you have both direction and, traction.
That blend is key. It makes you ask yourself, when was the last time you reviewed your own goals with that kind of rigor? How would defining clear phases actually improve your team's motivation and their sense of accountability? It's about giving everyone a clear map to follow, isn't it?
Definitely. Clarity is motivating.
Okay, so moving from strategy down to the ground level.
Yeah.
The material throws out this really thought-provoking scenario.
That sounds good.
What if you had absolutely no physical building, no big events to rely on, and no paid professional staff? How would your approach to reaching people, to sharing your message, fundamentally change then?
It's a radical thought experiment.
It really is. It strips everything down to the absolute essentials.
It does, and it forces this radical shift in perspective. The sources emphasize the importance of what they call the hidden years.
Hidden years.
Yeah, a period of slow, deliberate work, focusing on deep relationships and really immersing yourself in the culture, rather than chasing immediate visible results.
Okay, patience required.
A lot of patience. Yeah. This isn't about quick wins. It's about foundational work that truly takes root in a new culture, which they cover in Chapter 3. The insight is that true multiplication often begins with genuine connection, not flashy presentations.
That makes sense.
It also discusses something called proclamation with wisdom in Chapter 4. Basically, the idea that your message and how you deliver it should fit the local culture. You can't just import another culture's methods and expect them to work.
So the key there is truly embedding the message within the cultural fabric, rather than just sort of overlaying it.
Absolutely. That shifts everything.
Yeah.
And critically, it introduces the concept of the person of peace.
Person of peace.
Or, in broader terms, we might call them a key connector or a trusted influencer within a target community.
Got it.
This is someone who's receptive, influential in their own circles, and can naturally open doors and build bridges within their network. The book really stresses the need to actively seek out and build genuine relationships with these individuals.
Because they become the natural conduits.
Exactly. They're the conduits for organic growth.
Yeah.
Some practical applications they suggest include designing, say, a 30-day prayer map for a target community.
Okay.
But also mapping out relational circles from people you're just familiar with to those you trust, and outlining specific engagement steps for each level.
Really intentional relationship building.
Very intentional. And even rewriting your core message, your presentations, to fit natural local stories or metaphors people already understand and relate to.
It's all about meeting people where they are, isn't it? Not expecting them to come to you or adapt to your way.
Precisely.
That's powerful, really connecting the message to the cultural fabric instead of just broadcasting it. Makes you wonder, what cultural insights might you be missing about your own target audience, whether that's a new market or a specific community you want to serve better.
It's a vital question.
Okay, this next section really makes you rethink how you approach developing people, leadership development. It asks, are you unintentionally creating consumers of teaching rather than producers of disciple makers?
Ooh, yeah.
That's a challenging question for any leader who says they're focused on growth and self-sufficiency within their team or organization.
It's a profound shift in mindset, that one. The material drives home this powerful multiplication mindset with another question. If every single person you've trained went on to train another person this year, what would your organization actually look like next year?
Wow, yeah, that paints a picture.
It really challenges us to foster ownership and active participation. It even suggests that sometimes you might need to consciously stop doing certain activities yourself.
Oh, really? Stop doing things.
Yes, to force newer individuals into taking responsibility. It creates a kind of vacuum that others then have to step up and fill. It's about fostering leadership organically, not just assigning tasks.
That's a crucial point, the idea of avoiding unhealthy dependency. But I can easily imagine leaders might fear losing control or maybe seeing a drop in quality if they stop actively managing every single step.
Of course, that fear is real.
How does the book address those concerns?
Well, it confronts those fears directly, actually. It explores this concept called from group to church in chapter 6, or maybe for a broader context, we could think of it as from informal group to formalized team or organization.
Okay.
Asks, at what point does an informal gathering of passionate individuals need to sort of formalize its identity and its leadership to become truly sustainable and self-replicating?
When does it need structure?
Right. And the insight here is that delaying that transition, maybe out of fear of losing control or just general discomfort with change, can actually sabotage long-term growth. It prevents new leaders from fully emerging.
Interesting. So holding on too tight stifles things.
Exactly. For practical application, the sources suggest creating something like an obedience-based discipleship plan, meaning training that immediately focuses on applying what's learned.
Ah, not just head knowledge.
Right, not just accumulating knowledge,
Yeah.
and practicing training by doing through small groups or mentoring relationships. They even recommend drafting a simple one-page organizational covenant.
A covenant.
Yeah, to formalize identity and mission, clarify roles and responsibilities, just get everyone on the same page about what they're committing to.
That's a huge shift in mindset, isn't it? From just delivering content or instructions to truly empowering people to become active contributors and leaders themselves.
It really is.
Makes you think about your own team or organization. Where are you, maybe unintentionally, fostering dependency? And what's maybe one thing you could stop doing, even today, to empower others to take greater ownership?
That's a great reflective question.
Okay, the deep dive also tackles leadership itself head on. And here's another really sharp question. Are you more invested in producing leaders you control or leaders who can eventually outgrow you?
Wow. Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a challenging question for any leader thinking about sustainability and growth, especially when you factor in, let's be honest, ego.
It is, and it strikes right at the heart of that tension. Ego versus legacy. The material in Chapter 8 on leadership development emphasizes recognizing when a leader is ready without falling into that trap of demanding perfectionism first.
Right, waiting for the perfect candidate who never arrives.
Exactly. It's about building an organization that can thrive without the current leader. It challenges us to see our role not as being indispensable, but as developers of future leaders who might even surpass our own contributions.
That's a big mental shift.
Huge.
Yeah.
Then Chapter 9, Multiplication and Exit, focuses on creating an actual exit planning framework.
Planning your exit, even if you're not leaving soon.
Especially then, it's about ensuring healthy reproduction and leadership transfer down the line. This involves identifying clear milestones that signal when it might be time to transition leadership rather than just clinging on indefinitely.
Okay.
And the sources pose another provocative question here. What would happen to your organization if you suddenly had to leave tomorrow? Would it thrive or would it collapse?
Ouch. That forces a hard look, doesn't it?
It forces a hard look at succession planning and long-term viability, long before an actual exit is even on the horizon.
That's such a critical stress test for any organization and a truly humbling one. It makes you ask, what systems can you put in place now to ensure your vision continues to multiply long after you're gone, rather than just collapsing when you're not there?
Crucial for legacy.
Of course, no journey worth undertaking is ever smooth sailing, right?
Definitely not.
And these sources don't shy away from that reality. They ask another deep question. Which is the bigger threat to your mission? External pressures or internal division?
That's a profound point of reflection for any leader trying to figure out where to focus their energy and attention.
Where's the real danger?
It really is, because internal division can often be far more insidious and, frankly, destructive than most external challenges. Chapter 10, Navigating Challenges, encourages leaders to actually plan for worst-case scenarios, not to be morbid, but to be prepared. And it asks them to reflect on how leadership character is forged and shaped by crises. It argues that how a leader responds under pressure often defines their long-term impact more than anything else.
Trial by fire.
Sort of. Then Chapter 11, Staying Focused, United and Spirit-Led, talks about identifying all those distractions that inevitably pull attention away from the core mission.
Shiny objects.
Exactly. And distinguishing between a genuine, necessary adaptive redirection and simple mission drift. Just getting sidetracked.
Knowing when to pivot and when you're just lost.
You got it.
Wow.
Finally, Sustaining Momentum and Health, in Chapter 12, focuses on keeping that initial mission passion alive over the long haul, creating what they call a sending culture.
Sending culture.
Yeah, a culture that actively promotes and supports outward expansion and new initiatives rather than hoarding resources internally and identifying the biggest threats to long-term health. Practical applications here include things like conducting a challenge audit, listing your top risks and barriers, developing contingency plans for them, and establishing a regular, maybe weekly team rhythm for checking in. Where are we? Where are we heading?
Just constantly recalibrating.
Yes, a powerful tool for maintaining focus and unity, especially when things get tough.
It's a reminder that foresight is just as important as ambition, isn't it? Especially when you're navigating that inevitable turbulence. What impossible challenge are you currently facing that, maybe with a shift in perspective, could be reframed as an opportunity? An opportunity for growth or maybe stronger team cohesion?
That reframing is key.
So after all this, what does it all mean for you right now, listening to this? The good news is the sources don't just ask all these powerful, sometimes difficult questions.
No, they provide answers too, or at least a framework.
Exactly. They provide a brilliant framework for actual actionable steps. It's all organized into this actionable to-do list exercises section, and it really functions as a practical system for any leader who's seeking to bring more clarity and intention to their work.
Yeah, this part is incredibly practical.
This isn't just theory. It feels like a proven method for actually getting the right things done.
Indeed. This framework, I think, is a true game changer for protecting your focus and your energy. It starts with step 1, capture and clarify.
Okay.
It encourages you to literally free your mind by writing down every single task, idea, concern, big or small, personal or professional, that's rattling around in your head.
Like a brain dump.
Exactly. The goal is to get all those unspoken or neglected commitments out of your head and onto paper or a screen, freeing up valuable mental bandwidth.
I feel lighter already. Okay, what's next?
Then, step 2. Define next actions. This is crucial. You move from vague ideas, like train new leaders, to concrete physical next steps, like email Alex to schedule the first leadership apprenticeship meeting for next Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Making it specific and actionable.
Yes. It ensures every single item on your list actually has a verb attached, something you can do.
That shift from vague intention to concrete action is so critical, isn't it? It's where so many of us get stuck.
Absolutely. Third, 3. Organize by context and priority.
Context.
Yeah, you sort tasks by where you can do them, like all your phone calls together, stuff you need a computer for, errands you need to run in town, agenda items for a specific meeting.
Okay, batching things.
Right. And then you assign priority high, medium, low, based on how much impact that task has towards your core mission, your long-term vision.
Right.
The key here is to identify and really highlight maybe your top 3 high-leverage tasks for the week.
Focus on what matters most.
Precisely. Fourth is 4. Review and reflect weekly. Schedule a regular time, maybe 30-60 minutes every week. Update your lists, reassess your priorities based on what's changed, and crucially, consciously decide to drop or delegate low-value items.
Pruning the list.
Yes. This prevents the list from becoming overwhelming and ensures it's always relevant. And finally, step 5, act with intention.
Okay.
Each day, you identify one high-impact task from your list, something directly aligned with your core goals. You block out dedicated time for it, shut off distractions, and commit to completing it.
The one thing.
The one most important thing for that day. The material also touches briefly on some advanced reflection exercises, things like the mental bandwidth audit, from task to legacy, the priority filter.
Deeper dives.
Yeah, these are designed to really help you protect your focus and energy over the long term, making sure you're building towards that lasting legacy, not just constantly reacting to urgent but unimportant stuff.
That's incredibly practical. It's almost like a tactical guide to finding both productivity and purpose in your work.
It really bridges that gap.
Imagine adopting this kind of structured approach. How much more clarity, how much more focus could you bring to your most important goals, even just starting this week?
It could make a huge difference.
This deep dive, it's really shown us that building something that truly lasts, grows, and multiplies, it isn't just about articulating a big vision, is it?
No, not at all.
It's about asking the right questions, often the challenging ones. It's about committing to deep reflection and then critically translating those insights into consistent, actionable steps that actually empower other people.
If we connect this back to the bigger picture, the material really challenges us to move beyond simply maintaining our current thing,
Right.
to actively mobilizing, not just locally, but thinking with a global mindset, or at least a mindset beyond our immediate circle.
Expanding the vision scope.
Exactly. It prompts us to consider our personal commitment to linking whatever local efforts we're doing to some kind of broader impact. It asks, and this is a powerful one to end on, how will you account for the opportunities for broader impact you could have pursued but didn't, if your vision was truly meant to multiply beyond your immediate context?
Wow. That's, yeah. That's a challenging thought. So as you step away from this deep dive today, maybe consider this. What's the single biggest assumption you hold about growth and impact in your own context? An assumption that, if you really challenged it, you refined it based on some of these principles, could potentially unlock a whole new season of multiplication for you and your team.